everybody. There we are. Hello everybody. Welcome to your living room again. Don't mind us as we do the usual. Maybe we should probably learn how to put like a holding slide up that counts down for a minute or two while we press all the buttons that need to be pressed to share it over with other people. But
that would be very handy.
Wouldn't that be handy? I'm sure we can probably do it. Someone will tell us. We're using OBS. There's probably a way of doing that to work the way you want it to. Right.
Can I just check you definitely send that to my Gmail account?
Timothy.
Yeah, you can.
We have gone live.
I know.
We're joined tonight again by the lovely Timothy and the lovely Micah. Who are going to go quiet now, are they? Or are you going to say hello?
We feel like
we didn't know we had to say hello.
Okay, that's right.
I'll say hello.
They are saying hello. Hello! Lovely. Oh, I know what I need to do here. Now, I don't know about you. I have crazy hay fever tonight. So I'm trying not to sniffle into the microphone. And your eyes are watering? Yeah. Joy. Anybody else have hay fever tonight? Wonderful. Now, what do I need to do? I don't know. I need to share it to the church page, and I've set the phone down somewhere different. So, right, one moment, please. Kathryn will just chat to you.
I will just chat to you.
Yeah.
What am I going to chat about tonight?
You didn't give us the mic.
I did threaten to give this mic to the boys tonight.
I don't what it is. A threat.
Oh, Micah says it's a threat, and Timothy doesn't think it's a threat. Do you want the mic?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't think it was a threat. It didn't feel like a threat. It felt like a...
Okay, I used the wrong word. Apparently I used the wrong word.
She sort of said, do you want the mic? Rather than, I'm going to give you the mic.
Okay, so apparently I didn't threaten at all, but there you have it. Anyway, I was considering giving Timothy and Micah their own microphones tonight, but they don't want it. So some week, we're kind of working on them, aren't we?
We are.
Working on them.
Yeah, we're working on them to try and get them more confident and to maybe sort of like
Are we not working on you as well?
Probably, yeah, come on up here. Micah even plays the flute.
I don't want to play the flute.
He doesn't want to play the
I'm never
flute.
going to play the flute.
And Timothy
Timothy
even
plays more than the flute.
He plays the clarinet.
He plays the clarinet and the piano.
which he never practices.
He prefers to practice gently.
Don't do it.
Practice gently. That's a lovely way of doing it.
I'm very aware that there are now 17 people having a lovely insight into 2/3 of the Hart family conversation. Yeah.
Today, we've all been a bit stressed.
Well, no, that's not true. We
I'm a
actually
bit
had
stressed.
a really lovely day for most of the day,
No,
and
Mummy said we got hot and bothered.
I think that is very true. I think we got a bit hot and bothered because it has been really quite warm today, and it has been lovely, and it was lovely yesterday as well, and it's been really, really good to enjoy the sunshine this weekend. But yes, I think we all got a bit hot and bothered as the day went on. So we're maybe a little bit more frazzled starting out tonight. So we were kind of trying to pull together songs and get them in the right keys. So I'm probably going to play them all in the wrong keys. But we will get there. Are you ready, Ross?
I'm nearly there, my love. I'm nearly there. The joy
So
of technology.
I think what I will do is that I will pray.
That's a great idea.
And we're going to spend some time just singing to begin with, and then we might talk a little bit as we go along, see if we can persuade these two lovely boys to talk along with us as well.
We'll still talk along with you, but we just don't want to go into the camera.
That's okay. They're happy to talk, but don't want to go into the camera. But we'll see. But let's pray. God, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for coming to worship you. We thank you for rest. for those of us who've had a chance to have a little bit more of a rest today. And we thank you that in that rest we can meet with you. We thank you that when we worship you, you change things, that you change our home, that you change maybe the street we're on, you change our towns, and you change things in our hearts. We pray that we would know your presence in a real way tonight as we worship you. Amen.
Amen. Yes. I suppose I should make sure that I'm not really badly out of tune
That might be a
after
good
a warm
idea.
day. We'll just do that. Yeah. That's exactly what's happened.
I always find the delay really funny because I have it open on my phone so that I can see the comments, and I'm sitting here waiting for Ross to tune his guitar, but in my phone I'm still praying. So
Well, that just means that you're mastering 24/7 prayer, Kathryn.
yeah,
Praying
See.
continually.
mm.
You're able to do it.
Well, actually, you know what? Because then it just catches up on you, and then unless you're doing it like you stop 2 minutes before the end, you'll see yourself praying, but actually, then you'll see that you're not praying afterwards.
Holy Spirit, fall
keys tonight.
Well, the keys.
I'm waiting for you.
Okay, I am the keeper of the keys.
You're not going to explain where this song came from?
Wait, go Timothy.
No, you. Mommy do. Mommy.
So Timothy, we asked Timothy if any of his friends had any songs they'd like us to sing tonight.
Well, I think it was Timothy's idea.
Oh, or Timothy's
Timothy
idea.
felt he would like to ask his friends.
So this one, 10,000 Reasons, came from Karis. Hello, Karis. Good song.
Go on.
We don't have anybody specifically on lyrics duty tonight, so if you happen to know the song words, then feel free to post them in the comments, and then everybody else will be able to sing along. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before. Oh my soul, I'll worship Your holy name. Timothy, what are you doing? The sun comes up, it's a new day dawning. It's time to sing your song again. Whatever may pass and whatever lies before me, let me be singing when the evening comes. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before. Oh my soul, I'll worship Your holy name. You're rich in love and you're slow to anger. Your name is great and your heart is kind. For all Your goodness I will keep on singing. 10,000 reasons for my heart to find. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before. Oh my soul, I'll worship Your holy name. And on that day when my strength is failing, the end draws near and my time has come. Still my soul will sing Your praise unending. 10,000 years and then forevermore. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before. Oh, my soul, I'll worship your holy name. I'll worship your holy name. Yes, I'll worship your holy name. You give life. Joy, you're totally distracting me.
Oi!
I don't know, what are you doing?
You're playing different chords than me.
I'm twirling my.
Apparently, it's very distracting having a teenager. in a-
A teenager on his brand new iPhone who's just like, Timothy, would you mind not messing with that and then you just using it for the words and that's all?
I think this key's gonna work. It's gonna be really low.
Is it really low?
You give life,
You are love. You
bring
bring
light to the darkness. You give hope,
You restore.
for 5 minutes.
Because I need to go.
You need to go. I noticed that my phone is freezing a lot. I wonder, is that happening to everyone, or is it just my phone?
Is the Wi-Fi good for you today?
Or is it glitching a lot?
Maybe it is. There's little orange and red symbols that I don't remember from last time.
Oh, really?
Joy. But we're plugged directly into the broadband, so it might just be one of those things at the moment. Who knows? But yes, mine is also. Oh, look, your mum's saying happening to us too.
So it must be from our end then.
Maybe it is.
What to do?
What to do indeed. Disconnect some of the devices.
That's
from
what
the
I was just
internet.
thinking. There's probably a few too many devices connected to the internet
Yeah.
in our house.
Disconnect that.
Yeah, do you want to shut that one down? Why not?
Do you know, we have a saying in our house that is everybody needs a mica. Because mica is so very helpful.
Do any of you have a mica?
Probably.
Maybe?
If
You can't have
one.
ours. Well, that's
Oh,
really
the
helpful.
sound is fine, but there's a bit of a break in the picture. Well,
To be
that's
honest, I
not so
can
bad.
live with that.
Yeah. Thank you. The Montgomerys are awfully helpful.
Awfully helpful.
They really are.
Really
We
are
really
very
appreciate
helpful.
it.
Yeah,
Thank
shout
you.
out to the West Coast. Whoop whoop. Also shout out to New Zealand.
I have a shout out too.
We have a shout out in a
Oh,
moment.
Timothy's back.
Take it in time. I think I saw you, Helen Poots, popping up a wee comment there at the start about Joanne, who is in New Zealand at the moment. Went on holiday and then got stuck in lockdown. Although COVID free, so I mean that's something.
Enjoy New Zealand.
Yeah.
Probably having more fun in New Zealand. than
Right, Timothy,
We're
what's your
having here.
shout out?
My shout out's for Ashton Kerr because she's like the only one of my school friends who I know is actually watching this.
Oh, there you go.
There you have it.
Hi, Ashton.
It's good to have you, Ashton. It's good to be with you tonight.
Right. We're allowed to go again?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, Timothy.
Did you enjoy
Do you
your
wanna
talking? Was it spirited?
Enjoyed the talking. Do you want to be part of this now? I can swing this around a bit and then
Not
you can
really.
be seen. No.
I've had a bit of a grumbly tummy the past few days, and every now and then for some reason, to settle it, I lie on my side, and it sort of looks like I'm sleeping. So that's why I don't want it on me.
That's fair enough. That is fair enough.
Micah just
Right.
tried to steal my phone.
Because I want to see the words.
Yeah.
You keep on annoying me every time I come close to you.
Well, come and see the words.
There is a reason we call this living room worship, isn't there?
Yeah.
Go and
Yeah.
sit beside Mummy, and then you can see the words on Daddy's.
I don't want to see. I don't want to be in
I'll go over there then and give you my phone.
to make sore eyes.
Perfect. That's understandable.
Wonderful.
That's kind. Thank you.
It's looking good for the same key this time.
Stuck. Over, I can sit beside.
Higher than the mountains that I face, stronger than the power of the grave.
Just gonna reallocate my microphone here.
That's
Oh, I'm going away now.
Up, don't go away. So I decide to give you my microphone.
I'm going away.
He's going away.
Not because you're handing me the microphone, but because
Oh well.
get my gloriousness for one song and then I'll do another one if you do this.
So one thing
Isn't it good
remains.
to see Timothy looking so well?
Isn't it great to see Timothy looking so well? And I mean, how many people do you know have a week of chemotherapy and look like that? That's fantastic, isn't it? It's pretty cool.
He's never been yellow before, as far as
He's a little bit yellow, just a little bit of jaundice, but apart from that, it's all good.
Kitty Hare also saw me.
Oh, lovely. Hello, Katie.
Hello, Kitty Hair.
That's not what I
Um,
meant, as in I never remember on any other times he's got treatment. that
Yes.
I don't remember him ever being yellow.
No.
He's not as yellow as he
He's
was
not
a
as
few
yellow.
weeks ago. It has to be said.
Yes.
That's
He looks
not what
much
I
more
meant.
normal tonight.
That's okay, Micah. We understand. The song we just sang was the one that Micah selected, which he did for something, didn't he? Did he do it? Was that for the Sunday school service?
Yeah.
The Children's Day
No.
service? No. What was
No,
that
I
for?
did. I was in the same album, but
It's just an album of songs that Micah likes.
Micah's grandparents are calling for him to be seen on the screen.
There you go.
Micah, do you want to come and
says
join?
he's
Do you want to
gonna
come and sit
join.
over here this time, Micah?
Well, then I won't annoy you.
Oh, your
I'll annoy
eyes. Come on.
I will annoy you if you stay. I'll annoy you.
I know we're all suffering.
Everybody, Micah has red eyes. It's because he has hay fever.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Micah and I have the same hay fever.
Hello.
You said hello.
Yes.
The one benefit of sitting over here, Micah, although it does mean that you have to be seen by millions of people,
Millions!
It is
or
millions.
alternatively
37.
48,
48.
38 on Facebook and 10 on YouTube. A rising demographic, it has to be said.
I can't get the live chat.
What's a demographic?
on YouTube?
What is
The
a
demographic.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have listened harder in geography. It's
So-
it's the study. It's people. It's how people break down into different groups. Demography.
Democracy. Isn't that it?
Democracy is how
people.
people rule and how the people rule.
Well,
Demographics is how the
democracy is
people
only
I think we
I've
should
heard.
go back to singing.
are
Yeah.
drawn together. Okay.
Nanny Best says she can't see red eyes on the
Okay,
screen.
can't see your red eyes
I'm
on the
too
screen.
far away.
Here. We're a little bit distractible tonight, aren't we?
Just a little bit distracted. Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so, so kind to me. to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't learn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't learn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't
country on the family
WhatsApp
WhatsApp
stuff.
group.
Stop texting when you're singing.
Yeah, we were going to talk.
We were going to talk. Where you go?
You start.
Oh, well, thanks.
What are we texting?
You'll
we
find
will.
out.
Text.
You'll find out.
Okay.
If this is anything
There
related to me,
is-
stop.
No, it's nothing to do with you.
Okay.
Well, it might
Well,
be
it
to do
might
with
be,
you.
but
Who
only if
knows?
you
Who
mention
knows?
anything to do with you.
Okay.
What we I suppose there's lots and lots of there's lots more noises about emerging from lockdown, and yeah. So in a sense, what we wanted to do tonight was to reflect a little bit on where we're at so far in lockdown after 3 months. What's been good about it, what's been difficult about it, and have we seen God at work during it, one way or another. What's been good about it, what's been difficult about it, and where have we seen God at work during it?
Oh, I have an answer for one of those.
Well, you should probably say it.
So there was one day in hospital, like in May, when I was having my first dose of my cytarabine, which is the chemo, and I had like a really bad temperature with it, and I was really shaky, and I think Mummy prayed for me to stop being shaky, and then I sort of put my head back, and for about 2 minutes I just didn't shake at all.
That's true.
So I think that was that.
Absolutely.
I'm going to get a phone charger.
Yeah. Thank you, Timothy,
You're welcome.
for sharing. You're straight into the where do you see God at work,
Yeah.
which is
I thought that was the question.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
There were 3 questions, but that's
Oh.
brilliant. That's a real that is a really, I suppose, a really good example of where we have seen God at work.
I've forgotten what the other one.
The other
What's
questions
good?
were, well, I've often asked the boys every now and then I ask the boys how they're feeling about lockdown and how they're feeling about how life is, and I try really hard to start with the what's good, what are you enjoying questions. And when I ask you, Micah, what have you been enjoying during lockdown? What has been good?
Goose.
Goose. So who's Goose?
Or dog.
Everybody knows that though.
So, so you've been enjoying Goose, and what have you been
Yes.
enjoying? Why do you think you've been enjoying Goose during lockdown more than
Maybe.
normal life? What has been good about having Goose during lockdown?
I can't play with any of my friends. So
Yeah.
during lockdown, Goose is
Goose
who
has
I
been
can
your
play
friend.
with. Yes.
Yeah,
Well, Goose is my friend anyway, but
yeah,
He's been a special friend.
yes,
yeah.
get to play with him, and he's nice to stroke.
Yep. Absolutely.
He's good
Goose
for hugs.
Goose has been a real blessing to us during lockdown. Because you can just, for everyone, you can just run out into the garden and play with Goose, and he will.
Unless it's raining.
unless
then
it's
he'll be
raining,
wet
which
and he
hasn't
might
happened
jump
that
on
much.
you.
But he comes up to you with his ball, and he practically kind of dunks you
Yeah, he
with
goes
his
like,
head and his ball as if to say, "Will you please play with me?" So Goose has definitely been a real blessing to us, and one of the things
Thanks,
we have
Joe.
enjoyed during lockdown. What else has been good, Timothy? Can you think of anything?
Good about lockdown?
Yeah, anything that you have appreciated during
I've had
lockdown.
good video calls with my friends at different points,
That's right.
which I've enjoyed. Something that hasn't been as good is that when Daddy gets grumpy, we have to endure him being grumpy all day.
Let's keep it real.
Stop being
We're still on the
basically
good,
saying
Timothy.
Daddy was grumpy
We're still on the
today
Oh.
good.
for a bit.
Was there a
Sorry.
bad question as well?
Yeah, we're still
Oh.
on the good.
What are the good things? My Switch has been very helpful because it's been something to do. Schoolwork has been helpful, though I've
Yeah.
missed like a month and a half of it, so I should probably do some tomorrow. No, I'm not going to end up doing it, but I'll try.
I hope there's none of Timothy's teachers listening.
There might be.
Mr. Chestnut might call in every now and again.
I'm telling the truth.
You are.
You are.
You're doing well.
What about you, Ross? Things that you have appreciated. And feel free to add in the chat if there's been stuff that you have.
I like
That,
sitting
if
behind
there's
the
been
wheel.
anything that you have appreciated during lockdown, the things that have kind of stood out to you as being things that have brought you joy in the last few
Mummy
months.
and Daddy.
Mummy and Daddy.
Yeah.
It brought us joy.
Aww.
Be still my beating
Didn't we
heart.
say everybody needs a Micah?
Oh, yes. Good boy.
What about you, Ross?
I'm not a hugger.
What has been good about
Yes, you are.
lockdown?
No, you're on videos. You're not being a hugger. Because it's recorded.
This is live. This is live.
I know.
Live. It's worse than
I
being
know.
recorded.
But Timothy, it's just because it's been on live that
Why?
Timothy.
Okay.
I think
Bringing it back to the question.
Bringing it back to the
Ross,
question.
What
What
have
has
you
been- what has
appreciated?
been-
What has brought you joy?
I think right before going straight to the spiritual, I think I've really enjoyed our garden. Not that I'm out in it a huge amount, but we are blessed. We have a fairly long, narrow garden, and the street immediately beside us is called Beach Grove. But the only beaches in the whole area are in our garden, and I used to curse the beaches because they have 3 falls, not just one, not 2, but 3. So
3 falls.
they have, and whenever in the springtime before the leaves come out, they pop out of these little shell things that drop on the
it's
ground,
awful.
and then the leaves fall later on, and then the nuts fall, the beach nuts fall.
And then
Anyway,
they hurt
and then
when
they hurt.
Timothy comes outside.
They hurt
with
when
bare
you stand
feet.
on
On
bare
bare
feet.
The dog loves eating them.
There you go.
But I've really enjoyed the garden because I think because we've just been out in it, probably because of the dog having to look after him, actually seeing the garden change day by day. So we've seen the seasons shift.
Yep.
In kind of the tail end of winter into spring and now into summer, and we've just had such beautiful weather. We've had those clear nights whenever we tried to watch like the Starlink satellites going overhead and the space station, and I've just enjoyed the outside of our house.
I certainly noticed a big change in the garden this week when me and Mummy went to the hospital on Monday and the grass was like all yellow. We came back after like 2 days of pouring rain, and it was like
It was green again.
green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Daddy cut it, and now it's even more green.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna burn again.
I think the other thing I've really enjoyed these Sunday nights because I think
Companionship.
well yeah, worship, but I think we just we wouldn't have a natural space where, for instance, Kathryn and I could both play together for an extended amount of time in a meeting because one of us needs to usually be at home. But because we're both at home, then we decided to do it here and decided to put online, I suppose, as a prompt to worship. So that's been really good, and I've especially loved that these two joined in over the last few weeks. Even better that they're even like in shot right now. Hi,
Yeah.
which is lovely. What about you, Kathryn?
It's funny. I'm asking the question, and then I'm like, what have I appreciated? I suppose I have appreciated. I've appreciated different pace of life, where we're not kind of rushing all over the place all the time. That's not to say that we're not that our days aren't full when we're at home, because they are pretty full of school and work and family life. But I've really appreciated that, and the not having to run as often. And one of the things that I commented to Ross today is that for everybody, this was before we all got grumpy, was that everybody's really relatively good natured in
Except
our
for Samuel.
house. No, you're not allowed to say that. It's not about Samuel. Stop. So everyone is relatively good natured, and I've really appreciated the way these boys have been able to just get on with things. I think one of the things that has come as a surprise to me is that even though we've been isolated, that we've been able to get to know people better in the middle of lockdown, which has been lovely. People in our church family,
You're so distracted by the WhatsApp.
they're all watching my WhatsApp conversations coming through in my phone, and they're staring at me. Anyway, we have got to know people better, but got to know people in our church family better during this season, and some of our friends that we've been able to spend time with by electronic means. That has been a funny blessing in the middle of lockdown. And it's hard, I suppose it's hard maybe when we talk a little bit about what we find difficult, we can flip it back to the good stuff again. Because even though there's been some really difficult times during lockdown, there's been, and we've talked about it before some of these evenings, how we have seen God being good in the middle of that. And particularly this week, we have really known God's goodness and God's answered prayer. When we were at the hospital on Monday and Timothy's blood counts had recovered, which was a surprise, and we're just really thankful for that, and we keep praying for more, and we will keep doing that.
I think I said something around that was a God thing on Monday.
Yeah, absolutely, that was a God thing. So I mean, feel free to throw down in the live comments some of the things that you have, I suppose that you have, and we're starting with good on purpose, and we don't want to take away from all the hard stuff, and we're going to talk a wee bit about the hard stuff now, but sometimes it does our hearts good to start with naming the things that are good in the middle of a difficult time. So if there's things that come to mind, you're willing to share them, feel free to throw them into the chat.
You'll be, we might even read them out, so tell us if you're okay with that.
Don't worry about that. If people put them in the live comments, Timothy,
It's
everyone can see them
Oh, yeah.
anyway. But that was very good of you to ask for permission.
Well, you and Daddy always get grumpy at me when I take videos. You were like,
Well, we sing this song, and then that'll give you a little bit of time to think about what has been difficult. So we're going to sing another song, but after that we're going to think a little bit about what has been difficult and where have you seen God at work, and we'll talk a bit more about that.
I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God.
Katie Hare, that is a lot of stickers.
Have you asked Katie permission to name her alive?
Well, you said it already.
That's true.
And you
Also,
said
she
twice.
was
That's
watching
true.
it, so it will have
Mentioned
said her
her
name
twice.
already.
Yeah. Okay. So
What's been difficult?
what has been difficult? Who wants to start? What has been difficult about lockdown?
No people to touch, other than
People you touch
screamy,
all the time.
other than screamy man, grumpy man, mopey man, Mrs. Man, and
Mom,
Good.
baby man,
and Mama.
and dog man.
Dog man's an
So
actual person.
not being able to touch real human beings.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else been bad, Timothy?
Not being able to be out.
Wait, Mummy, you said
As
not
in-
being able to touch real human beings. We are real
That's
human
true.
beings.
Outside of your immediate family.
Also, are we talking about experience-wise or things that are bad?
Things that you have both. Things that are not that have not been things that you don't appreciate about lockdown, but also you can talk about difficult things that have happened during
Oh, I
lockdown.
thought about a good thing. At the start of lockdown, one of the best things to do was when our nurse came out to us on a Monday morning and took bloods. It's like, there is a person in our house!
Yeah, that's true. We were both like that. Yeah.
Yeah, spot the extrovert.
Mummy tried
Although
to
it
tell
was-
everybody her life story.
It was lovely to see Cara and Sinead and other people like that.
Absolutely. It was like
He
there
just
are,
named them on a live
there are
stream,
human there are
Daddy.
human beings in our house and
Yes.
we can talk to them. So isn't it good that you're still thinking about the good things?
Nobody
Yeah,
said
because
anything.
I
I think
know.
it's probably worth saying, Timothy, that one of the difficulties was that you relapsed.
That was before lockdown.
No, that was
No.
during lockdown.
Yeah.
No, it
Uh-huh.
wasn't.
Yeah.
Relapsed again?
it was, buddy.
During
I relapsed
lockdown?
during lockdown
You
as
did
well.
relapse
During
during lockdown.
lockdown.
No, I didn't relapse.
Okay, your blast cells came back.
Yeah,
during
but we
lockdown.
knew they probably would.
Yeah, but you were pretty settled.
That doesn't count as
So
a relapse.
the start of
I'm not counting that as-
lockdown,
I'm not
you were
counting that
pretty.
as a
No, but
relapse.
listen, you were pretty settled, and then it was a little bit difficult to learn. Was it just before Easter?
Just before Easter.
Just before Easter that those cells were back.
That the
So-
medicine wasn't working.
That
The
the
NASA
that
had
ASA
stopped.
wasn't working in the same way anymore.
Yeah, but then I knew that the Citarabine were working. None of you listened to me.
So
I
Micah,
kept telling
I'm
you
gonna
that the
move on to
Citarabine
Micah.
were working. You
Micah,
just ignored
what
it.
has been difficult about lockdown?
I can't see my friends.
You can't see your friends.
I can't go to school
Mm-hmm.
because I miss my teacher too.
He can't go to school and he misses his teachers.
What other stuff is there? I'm trying to think of other stuff now actually quite a lot of good things that have happened.
Yeah.
So Mike is struggling to find all the difficult things because he says there's quite a lot of good things that have happened. So we're talking about the good and the difficult.
Yeah.
For the introverts, it's easier.
I think you're right.
I'm a half introvert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ross, what about you on the difficult side
As
of
the
things?
full introvert in the family.
What has been difficult for you, Ross?
I genuinely find
Heather sent a wave.
thank you, Timothy. I genuinely find it difficult with having the whole family here all the time. I work from home, which is normal. So I have found it difficult to all the juggling of working and caring for somebody who's sick and homeschooling and a toddler who insists on who incidentally has got much better at potty training
But
during lockdown.
except for today.
Except for today. But yes, those have been difficult. But then it all kind of comes around. It ebbs and flows, doesn't it? So, the difficult things morph back into the good things sometimes.
Yep.
So I was thinking the song we sang, the Reckless Love song. Sometimes we don't feel like the one sheep that Jesus goes, the shepherd goes to. Just a moment, Micah. That the shepherd goes to search out, and you feel like you're always one of the 99. But there's like today where I just was really grumpy by the end of the day, and partly it was because by the middle of the day, partly it was because we got to spend some socially distant time in a garden with my family, and actually by the end of it, I think I was just like, it was actually more difficult to be near them but not to be able to hug them
It
and
was very hard.
just the whole not being able to be close enough. So we were close but we weren't close enough, and I think that's one of the things that I'm not especially looking forward to in the coming days, as lockdown starts to change, is actually being able to see more people but to still have to stay separate and distant from each other. I think that is difficult. Micah.
Micah, is
Why
this a
is-
difficult thing again?
No,
No?
it's off topic.
It's off topic.
I'm sorry. Why is reckless spelt without a W anyway?
It's not wreck, as in it.
It's a different word.
What does reckless in comparison to
Reckless mean.
reckless mean? Because if I said Micah was reckless or not a wreck, then he'd be awake.
We're getting off topic.
Okay.
Literacy.
It's my turn.
Your turn, Kathryn. Go ahead.
It's never good when I don't get my turn to
No.
talk. Never good. So I suppose it's probably fair to say difficulties of lockdown, that we probably had one of the scariest weeks of our life. We've had several scary weeks when you haven't been well, Timothy. But one of them happened during lockdown.
The week with the temperatures.
The week with the temperatures, the week where Timothy really wasn't very well at all,
And then he had to go to hospital.
I was just like,
for a long time.
and where we were waiting to see how the chemotherapy drug would work, which Timothy was very confident would. But that was a really difficult week, and I think one of the hard things about something like that happening in the middle of lockdown is that the hospital setup is different. Everything's different. Your normal support networks are, they're there, but they're not there in person, and it was really just me who could be in the room with Timothy, and normally you would have other people in and out. That must be
We had
hard
people
for
at
you.
the window there.
We had lots of people come and wave at Timothy at the window, so we had a room with a window. So that was definitely one of the most difficult things to go through, a scary time during lockdown, and there will be some of you who are part of this tonight who probably have gone through scary, difficult times during lockdown that would have been scary and difficult even in normal times, but without being able to access your normal support works in the normal support networks in the normal way, it was probably more difficult. So I suppose for me, one of the difficult things about lockdown is not, I suppose similar to what Ross is saying, is not being able to see people in the same way as you normally would, and not being able to get your mum to come clean your house and things like that.
Can I talk about the scariest day of lockdown?
You can talk about the scariest day of lockdown.
The scariest, well, it was night. Scariest night of lockdown. It happened about 11:50.
Oh no!
And I was asleep in my room and was looking to the side of an alien outside. Please stop. I can't think.
He's telling a story and he doesn't want you to play chords.
Sorry.
There's people here.
I know.
People here for the music.
Well, there's 44 hands. They're quite happy.
Go on ahead.
And I heard this alien outside
Oh yes.
howling, and I genuinely thought someone had like attacked her or something. And then I rushed downstairs, it's like, what's up? And then see Daddy kneeling beside Mum. Open my curtains, see Daddy kneeling beside Mummy, just sitting on the floor. I was like, what's happened? And then coming outside, I thought Mummy had bashed her head on something or something. And I came outside and Mummy had hurt her foot, but the way she sounded, she was going, and then she had a mixture of shock and upsetness because she knew it might have disrupted being able to like drive to the hospital and stuff like that for my appointments. So she was also going, no, and lying in your bed at midnight going, why is this happening? It's like, ah! And then I went outside and Daddy said, Timothy, go away, I'm dealing with it.
Was that actually at 11:50?
It was roughly midnight when it
So
happened.
Daddy
Mummy
came to
Mummy
the
went
hospital?
outside. No.
Daddy left
No.
us at home?
No.
Yes, he did. Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Yes,
just
anyway.
to tell it in short, I missed the bottom step in our garden at midnight, out walking with the dog, twisted my ankle, and my mind went to, I'm going to have a broken foot, I'm going to have surgery in the middle of Timothy going through
You could have
all
had
his
gas.
treatment, etc. in the middle of lockdown. So I was not in a good mood when I fell down the steps that night. But you'll be glad to know I did not break a bone, and I can now walk properly.
And it was
Yeah.
nice to be able to look after someone rather than them looking after you, I found.
That's what Timothy said. Yeah.
Because it was like, Mummy, stay there, don't move your foot.
Timothy did try to look after me for a few
I
days.
think I'll
which
be
was a good thing.
once I'm married and have kids, I'll be a good dad to be able to go away and look after my mum when she's in this care home and she's weak and old.
Why would she be in the care home?
I don't know.
Our grandparents are in the
Shall
care
we
home.
sing again?
No,
Well, we
our
need to
grandparents
finish
aren't in the care
We
home.
need to finish it, and we also need to talk about
Yeah.
where we're seeing.
So do that now.
Okay.
Can you?
You talk about it.
And stop playing.
Our last question for you to think about.
Okay, the last question. So we've done what's good and what's difficult, and then where's God. And I think we've spotted God in lots of different places. As a family, we've seen God in the people who have cared for us in practical ways and in prayerful ways, and joining in with this worship and singing. We've spotted God at work in our community. We can see there's an abundance of people in Drumore who are willing to collect prescriptions and bring food to people if they need it, and care for them in different ways. So yeah, we kind of see God in really practical, tangible ways, but God's been good through the Lectio 365 app, just in helping
What?
the Lectio app. It's a thing that I listen to at the kitchen table sometimes. Just
When I'm
as
asleep.
just as a way of pausing and praying and resting in God's presence and listening to the word is really good. Where else have you seen God at work, Kathryn?
I think we were talking about this with a few people from our church a few weeks ago, and I think it's helpful. I think some people find this question quite hard to answer, and you explained it in a really good way. So I think you should explain it again.
Well, whenever people say where spot where God's at work and join in and stuff like that, or what's God up to, it's quite an ethereal sort of question, but what I was thinking was maybe everybody hears it like this all the time, but it struck me that it's when you see any kingdom values at work, I'm ready to pick up an iPhone and throw it through the window.
You've just seen the grumpy Ross in that moment.
Well, I'm allowed to socialise with my friends who are watching me.
Yeah.
Because it's easier than talking about it.
I know.
Keep going.
I'll just hide behind you.
If you're a member of Drumore Methodist Church, do you miss this part?
Keep going.
Anyway.
You can't get Ross back on topic when he gets distracted. Where are you seeing the kingdom of God?
The kingdom is through kingdom values that are in display, like the Beatitudes and the things that Jesus says to the sheep, not the goats, and the Spirit of the Sovereign Lord, Jesus' manifesto of binding up the brokenhearted, and whenever you see the Spirit's gifts and fruit at work, when you see love and joy and peace and patience. When you see all that going on, then there's God is at work, and so that really helps me, because then if I see someone who is out on the street or a member of the community who doesn't belong to church, but they're showing great patience and kindness with their families during lockdown, well, that's a God thing. We can point that out, because that's the Holy Spirit is at work out there, ready for us to join in and to say the things that you're discovering that are good about lockdown are often things that God is doing.
Yeah. And I think we have, when you think about seeing God's kingdom breaking through, things like healing come to mind as well. And I think Timothy, we're pretty sure that God has been at work in your life. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's texting at the moment.
I'm going to turn off the Wi-Fi for his devices next week.
I'm trying to help my grandparent whose thing has stopped.
Okay, anyway. So we have seen God at work. We've seen God at work in the way that people have cared for us, and the things that have turned up on our doorstep, the people who have gone to M&S for us every week. A friend of mine who's painted me pictures, and there was one that she just had to paint, and that was incredible, of God choosing to speak in the middle of this. We've seen God, I suppose, turn things around for Timothy a month ago when he was really unwell, and we're just so thankful for seeing God at work in the middle of this. And I know so many of us have talked about seeing our communities caring for each other, and yeah, we have seen God at work. Yeah. But Ross is looking at me with that sort of...
I'm looking at you just with that. We've been going for an hour and 24 minutes or something like that already.
But we all have 3 more songs.
We always say we're going to be here for an hour, and we're always here for longer.
Might be here till
So
11.
anyway, do we actually have 3 more songs?
2 songs.
2 more songs. There you have it. Becky, would you like the microphone? Oh, it's worth a try.
This is another one that Karis asked for. Start from the beginning again. You call me out upon the waters, the great unknown.
and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace, for I am yours, and you are mine.
Oh, before we start the next song, I have a question, and I need people to post the answers in the comments. If you know how to make your voice find like a middle ground, because my voice will either do really quite low or really quite high, and it won't do the middle. So if anybody knows how to get your voice to fix that, that would be helpful.
I know. If we pick different keys to play the songs in.
That's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
Okay.
Your voice doesn't tune itself to the song.
Well, it does.
No, but your voice sings it all.
This is the last one.
It is?
This is the last one.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's red colour.
You have about another 400 mils of water to drink tonight.
No, I don't.
And this
Three,
one
anyway.
is Build Your Kingdom Here, which is a Rank Collective song, which Samuel asked for, and poor old Samuel has to go to bed before we start every Sunday night, so he's been asleep for about an
Hello,
hour and a
Emily
half.
Dugan.
Fuck you, Ian.
I don't know.
That's going to be capo 2. So you need to play it in G. Do you want me to play it down?
No, it's fine. As long as
Okay.
I know what key it's in.
Come set your rule and reign in hearts again. Increase in us, we pray. Unveil why we're made. Come set our hearts ablaze with hope, like wildfire in our very souls. Holy Spirit, come invade us now.
wonder when Ren Collective filmed this song the first time, was it cloudy, and when they were finished it was sunny?
You never
That
know.
would have been cool if it's like they're singing a song about basically things coming alive again, the darkness fearing. What if the clouds went poof?
They probably made it like that though.
Yeah.
They might have, when they were recording it, decided, because they wouldn't have recorded it all in one. When
I think often they record the.
Are you
If it's a
talking about
music
videos
video, yeah,
or
videos.
videos?
But if they're doing the actual song, they'll have recorded it in one go and probably done it a few times. Like music's. But if it's a music video,
What are you playing?
Music
I
video?
have no idea. Just giving a little musical background to
I
Timothy
feel like
and
we
Micah
should
waking up.
pray. We should pray to finish.
That's a good idea.
Which one of you would like to pray?
Micah would.
No, don't do that. Would you pray for us, Timothy, as we finish?
Fine.
Oh, go on.
Oh, also, next week is an All Ren Collective week.
Good
I'm
grief.
saying that now.
My hand will never survive it.
No.
Or, no, wait, no. Next week is not an All Ren Collective week. It's the week after next.
Okay.
Because this week is all of Timothy's friends send him music ideas week. So all of the music next week is coming from Timothy's friends.
Next week is Be Kind to Your Dad week.
So if you consider yourself to be a friend of Timothy, please do.
And you have to
suggest
be
some
you have to
songs.
be 13 or under.
Maybe 14.
Abigail Ray is allowed to as well, but and Katie Dugan, but past that.
16 and
What
under.
about Rebecca?
16 and under. There we go.
17?
What about
17 and
Rebecca?
under.
17?
What about Rebecca?
17 and
Okay.
under. Fine.
So you're gonna pray
17
there,
and
Timothy?
under.
Timothy? Gonna
And
pray.
then if you don't have my number, text mummy or daddy or get
Ready
your
to
parents to
press
text them.
stop.
Right,
Okay.
okay.
Will you pray for us as we finish,
Because
Timothy?
we're
Thank
dragging
you.
on. Dear God, thank you for the fun we've had tonight, even though it's gone on for 2.5 or like an hour and a half. Thank you that people have been enjoying it, and thank you that we haven't got boring. Help us next week to be even better, and help us all to stay well this week. Amen.
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 Or have we got boring? Some
Well, I
people
think-
think we're boring.
Some people might think we're boring.
We're not quite at Dan TDM or DT.
This has
DTM.
been,
Dan TDM.
yeah, it has been an interesting experiment tonight.
Go
hasn't it?
subscribe to Dan TDM.
Thank you, boys, for
And-
joining in with us
Here,
tonight.
here.
And I also
We
apologise
appreciate
for
it.
being quite so hyper. I don't know why I am.
It's
I just
when-
am
when
hyper.
we
What are you
up
supposed to
late,
say?
we hyper.
For those of you on YouTube, don't forget to smash that subscribe button.
And hit that notification
the
bell
like.
to stay noted.
And share the video on Facebook.
Make sure.
Although
yeah,
I think
hit
it's,
the
I think
notification
it's
button
kind of
to
going
make sure you don't
Yeah.
miss another video.
right. It's time to say goodnight.
I
But
think it's
hey, hold
like,
on a wee
subscribe,
second.
Yes.
notification
Why
bell.
not have that conversation with someone else this week? Have the conversation with someone else. What's been good during lockdown? What's been difficult? Where have you seen God at work? Why not
And if
do
you
that
want to
this week?
Zoom any of daddy or mummy for like a quick call, do.
Sure. If you want to have that conversation with us, go for it.
We're up for the
We're
banter.
up for it.
Maybe.